treating it like a threat. And one of the things that can't be attacked is your self-custody Bitcoin. And one of the things that can be attacked is the ETF. You can't be exposed to that. That's my view. It's not a good idea. And by the way, that'll hit MSTR too. It'll probably hit other stuff as well. Friends and enemies, welcome back. Canadian Bitcoiners podcast.
Friends and enemies, welcome to the CBP. Wanna be better informed? Listen to Len and Joey. Sponsors taken care of right off the top. Bull, Bitcoin, and easy DNS. The media is feeding the slop. It doesn't matter what topics discussed. Quality entertainment and information you can trust.
That's being planned or at least discussed. You know, we're not going to allow
quality entertainment and information you can trust. Send the guy some value, boost them with some stats. Bitcoin is a scarcity asset. I mean, it's just a fact. Geopolitical, national, down to the local cloud.
Friends and enemies, welcome back to the Canadian Bitcoiners podcast. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. You know who I am. You know who that is in the other panel. What's going on, man? How you been? I haven't talked to you in about a week here. So Merry Christmas.
Oh yeah, we have a couple of weeks off from the show. It was refreshing.
Thanks for coming, everyone. See you next week. the momentum is gone.
I'm still trying to process. I'm still trying to process what's happened today. Right? We had Bitcoin not dump when it hit 90.
Huge.
I'm shocked.
Yeah,
right?
I thought we had lost that capability entirely. To be honest with you, I thought we were dead in the water. Another Bitcoin funeral.
The Z-Man plucking one of our very best. Again, that's something that's hard for me to process, right? Like I'm just now getting to the bottom.
She's still the sitting MP over there, right? She says she's going to leave her seat, post haste, but so far she has not done so. So good for her, I guess. Christopher Freeland. Anyway, we're going to talk about all that stuff. We're going to talk about 500,000 new asylum claims. We're going to talk about stablecoins today. We're talking about whether or not you should be buying Bitcoin at Circle K. Probably not. But first, as always, the sponsors, EasyDNS, the best place for you to do basically anything when it comes to name service and virtual private server stuff. Whether you want to bring a domain over, you got one already, or you want to buy one from Mark, some combination of the two, he can help you with that. If you want to run a virtual private server, do some Bitcoin work, do some other work, easy. We've had some people in the recent past who had that need. They've been sent to our friends at EasyDNS. And of course, Len, for a couple extra bucks, domain share, easy mail, make sure that all your stuff is locked down. As you hear from us on Access of Easy, many people looking to snipe your data, your client's data, and other stuff too. Actually, the amount of things that we hear about in terms of stuff being stolen, data being stolen during hacks and break-ins and leaks and whatnot, very, very alarming, but not something you have to worry about over at EasyDNS. So go there, use the promo code CBP Media, tell Mark we sent you whatever, and get 50% off your first cart, which is outstanding. I meant to meet up with Mark over the break. We never had time. Maybe in the next little while, we'll get some lunch and record something here in the studio. Would be nice.
It would be. Well, Bitcoin?
They're still a sponsor, so we better be talking about them. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, let's talk about it. That's where I do my buys. That's what I would do myself if I ever were to sell them. But why the hell would you want to? But if you'd still want to sell it, they'll be happy to facilitate that transaction for you. Non-custodian, right? So it's not like you're going to get rugged. So many other exchanges out there. You use them, have them hold on to your Bitcoin. By the time you want to get it, it's gone. Not Bull Bitcoin, because in order to do the buy, you got to provide an address. It may not be a correct address, but you got to provide a Bitcoin address. That is the only way to do it. Non-custodial exchange, this is what you want. They have your safety, your privacy in mind when you do the buys. You could not only buy, not only can sell, you could do it on-chain, you could do it on Lightning. When fees are getting high, they're not yet. So on-chain is still a thing to do, but still things you could do with them, pay your bills, send money, limit orders, lots of different options you could do. They are continually expanding, offering more services. They have the new app out there. Joey, I think you've tried it out and you are very happy with the Bull Bitcoin app. You've been glowing.
It's awesome. The Bull wallet is awesome. Recover Bull is awesome. Super easy. Without going into too much detail, I've been using the
DCA feature, right?
Bull Liquid DCA Bull Wallet Flow over the last, more than a month now, I think. And it's been awesome. It's like a really good sort of product. It's a good product alignment, and the buy to the wallet to the it's outstanding, completely seamless. Set it and forget it. You love to have it, and like you said, how many places can you DCA non-custodial? Barely any. This is one.
On top of that, if you need some hand holding along the way, they have an excellent team.
They actually fly Keonne to your house. If
I don't know, maybe not to that degree, but they are
enough. They'll do it. I promise you, Kev and Matt. They will send Keonne anywhere you need him to be. He's there.
So if you have a little bit of extra of these, the Canadian version of, they'll be happy to take it and give you some Bitcoin in exchange. So check them out. Use our link below if you haven't already signed up. If you do, then all your buys and sells moving forward will be a little bit cheaper. Check them out. They are the best.
Yeah, we like that. So, I mean, housekeeping, I guess we could do first. We don't have any. Been a couple of weeks off here. Really enjoyed the break. Len and I got together in the meat space for the first time in a while with show sponsor Tuan at his place. That was fun. Man, you guys, like, we talk about Tuan usually in the back half of the show. We do Hamilton Man, Brampton Man. But let me tell you, Tuan takes no breaks. Okay. He made us steaks, and we were talking about, in between solving all the world's economic and political problems, all the iterating he's doing over at 256 Heat. He's got a new 3D printer in-house. You see him tweeting about some of the stuff he's working on. Guy never sleeps. So we did that over the break. And man, that's basically like it. I didn't do like anything else related to this podcast. Did you?
I was always still checking out the news stories and some of the
sure.
And some of what I've been reading is going to help make up the body of today's episode. So, yeah, so there may be a little bit of information here that could be from a couple of weeks ago, but I think it's still noteworthy stuff we should discuss, including, Joey, one particular item is I've learned that 0.1 Bitcoin is enough to retire on. So I'm going to be hopefully
I'm shutting it down. If that's the case, I'm shutting it down. We're good here.
Well, maybe you are. I still haven't reached that magical 0.1 Bitcoin. And when I do, then you will see me just shut it down and say enough is enough. So when this chair's empty, I've reached my stacking goal for my life. 0.1 Bitcoin. Get there, because if you do not, you will never retire. That's according to a whole bunch of podcasts that I see out there.
Yeah. Funny, I see a couple comments here from the chat. Tore up, bro. You got to get into the 256 seat. Don't worry about what your wife thinks. And then Dab there, I see a 0.01 Bitcoin to retire. Boomer underneath 0.15 to be safe. It's amazing. The pod slop never ends. I've said this many times. These guys are my friends. Don't get me wrong, but it's shitty content. If you're making videos every 2 weeks about how much Bitcoin you need to retire, it's time to start thinking about another line of work. I would say that's my personal view. Don't shoot me about that, but I think that's probably the case.
Another thing I think you should be very concerned about if you're a Ledger user. Have you seen what happened with the?
Are we going into this here? You want to let's hop into the news? Sure. I mean, let's hit them with the Ledger thing. It's a pretty important story.
We talk.
Do we have any boosts? We have boosts.
We have no boosts.
Okay.
No
Good.
boosts.
All right.
Is we talk fondly of products from CoinKite, and the reason why is I use it. Joey, you use it. You have the Q. I don't have a Q. I'm happy with my Mark IV cold card. I'm not going to upgrade it because it does exactly what I want it to do for me. Mm-hmm. Not to say that the Q is a crappy product. It's a better product, but the Mark IV does everything I need. Why do I like CoinKite? They don't sponsor us. I just like their fucking thing. When you buy something from them, from what I understand, is they destroy those records after a period of time. So in terms of having your information tied to a particular buy, like a signing device, it's not going to happen through CoinKite. They're not going to get that information. But Ledger, time and time again, this happens, right? You buy something with them, information they keep forever, man. Their attention is infinite. Destroy this fucking stuff. They have their payment processor today, Global E. Unfortunately, they suffered a breach. Now, information that was taken from there is the typical stuff. You got the names, the addresses, the contact information, everything. And if you're buying something from Ledger, you probably have some digital assets associated with it, right? It's not like you're going there to buy the fucking hat that you can put the Ledger Nano in it. You're getting the Ledger Nano plus the hat. So like they know that you have it. So when this information gets leaked out there, now you're risking the $5 wrench attack. You're risking getting all these fucking emails out there because they have this information. You might get calls, you might get whatever, just to try to scam you in one way or another. How many people out there use Ledger for NFTs,
Tons,
for
man.
shitcoins?
Tons.
They are just ripe to get fucking owned out there. They're gonna fucking get absolutely owned. It's fucking bullshit if you see this kind of stuff happen time and time again. They do not do anything for you and your privacy. If they would destroy this information shortly after processing the buy and sell or the sell of the product. But the fact they keep it forever, it's bullshit. Go somewhere else to buy your fucking signing device. Don't give Ledger your money. They're gonna fucking just rug you in the end. If not, your shitcoins are gonna get rugged. Think of all that, and not just that. Like, think of what they fucking offer in terms of like those devices. They service all that garbage. Fuck Ledger. Fuck it all together. It's still better than leaving on an exchange. I'll have to give it that.
Can you
not much these days.
Answer this question, okay? How many more data leaks before the end of the decade from Ledger? Over, under 2.5?
Over.
I would say over 2. Why?
We still have 4 years, give or take, right? Like, that's enough time.
That's the thing. That's the one thing. But I think the other thing too, like the key feature here of this and other leaks from them is what they're not learning their lesson on third parties. Like they just keep going through. They just keep going through these, like, you know, these phases where they're, oh well, it was a vendor, it was an email provider, it was a whatever. But like, man, Bitcoin's worth $100,000, dude. You can't leak that information from people now. You're seeing crime, although there is like very suddenly a major push from all the Canadian and American media to say that crime in big cities is going down. Like, you must think I'm fucking retarded if you think I'm going to believe that. But that aside, the idea that this sort of increasingly dangerous time is the right time to be leaking customer data to third-party providers, to Darknet, to Twitter, to whatever, you know, at the same time when vigilante activism is raging. We just had Luigi Mangione kill a guy, you know, 6 months ago. It seems like a decade ago that happened. Charlie Kirk. People are emboldened, you know, by I don't know, are they emboldened by like 4chan forums or whatever the case is? The fact of the matter here, the fact of the matter here is that, you know, whether they're getting MK Ultra or just watching too many YouTube videos, people are taking bolder and bolder action against people they don't like, disagree with, think have some undeserved wealth or fame or fortune or whatever. And the idea that you're going to be like, okay, let's keep giving all this information to third parties is insane to me. These are the same guys, by the way, that will say to you in, you know, tweets or whatever, the new Ledger safest hardware wallet. It doesn't matter how good the hardware wallet is if you tell people where the hardware wallets are being like domiciled. That's the same thing, you know. That's part 1A and 1B of customer safety and data safety. But they're really failing at this. I have also never heard of this payment processor. Presumably they're European, but can we not use someone a little more? I mean, recognizable. Well, recognizable, whatever, right? Like, there's the fact of the matter is there's more secure payment processors than World E.
By the way, Global E is headquartered in Israel.
Just never stops. Like, you just never stops. Watch out. Hopefully you don't have a beeper in your pocket because you can't say that on YouTube. But like it's like one thing after another here. This is crazy, man. Oh my god, I had no idea about that.
Breaking news here. Oh my god.
What an embarrassment, man. What an embarrassment. I don't think these people are like, you know, they're not serious people when it comes to security. I can't imagine continuing to give my data to them. Just, it's mind numbing. But Len, until NVK and the cold card guys start worrying about UI for new Bitcoiners, this is going to keep happening. And, you know, I've been critical of NVK. I think I said this to D over the break too, probably during a heated round of ARC Raiders, that one of the problems we're having now is Bitcoiners who are starting to buy in the last, let's say, or started to buy in the last like 2 years. Okay. They see it at 100K and they're going, man, I got to get some of this. So they start buying. They never experienced 2017, 2016 and before user interfaces in Bitcoin, whether it was on the hardware side, whether it was on the wallet side, the client side, whatever. They never experienced this. And so for you and me using the Cold Card Q or the MK4 with Sparrow is like, oh my God, what a breath of fresh air. This used to be brutal to use. The sending and receiving was brutal. The fee structure is brutal. Now, people don't have that point of reference. In fact, everything they're using is really dumbed down. It's for the lowest common denominator, as I used to say on the show all the time. And so until Cold Card or CoinKite, if they really want these customers, if they really want to help these customers, I dare say, tweeting at Ledger or about Ledger every time they fail is one thing, but there's a way to kind of draw these people in and, to be a bit critical here of MBK and the team. There's not been so far an effort to produce a device for the new epoch era, whatever, of Bitcoiners. And until there is one that's secure and friendly to look at, you're going to keep having this problem. So it's not MBK's problem to solve, but there is, potential at least that he could really poach a lot of these people who are looking for hardware wallets because he does have the best product. You're right. The question is one only of UI and ease of use and nothing else.
I have nothing to add to that.
All right.
Let's just go on. Trust Wallet. You've heard of them?
I have.
Don't trust them.
Yeah, hardly
I don't
ever.
think they do Bitcoin.
It's like when you have to put science in the name of a discipline, it's not a science. Like political science is not really a science. Same as if you have to put trust in the name of your wallet, it's not really trustworthy.
So don't trust Wallet.
Sad.
Like I said, I don't know if they do Bitcoin. Let's assume they don't. Doesn't really matter if they do that. But anyways, there was a Chrome extension for Trust Wallet that apparently drained about 2,500 people $8.5 million worth of, I presume, shitcoins. And what they were doing, they were using a malicious JavaScript file on the Trust Wallet Chrome extension. Chrome of all things, right? That's another thing that, there's better browsers out there. Better browsers, better signing devices. But this is a hot wallet, right? Like this is something people should avoid. Leaving your money in exchange, your Bitcoin in exchange, is bad. Leaving your Bitcoin in a hot wallet, like a vast amount of Bitcoin on a hot wallet that's just readily available, is bad. You don't want to have your keys on a device that is on the internet, that is online, that could potentially get rugged. Use something better. I would even dare say use a fucking ledger over this stuff.
Yeah.
But then if you're going to go down that path, use something else. To mention even Tap Signer is another one. But anyways, there's so many different things you could use out there. Don't use the Trust Wallet. But still, people don't learn. Joey, all the time you hear stories like this.
It's always web wallets. It's always web wallets, Chrome extensions. Yeah.
I don't get how people just continually trust these. I understand the name, but let's be honest. This shit happens frequently enough that people get their shit drained from them, but they continually do it because they're fucking lazy. They think that their system, their setup, is impervious to an attack. No fucking way. No system is. With enough time and effort, they could get into anything they wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in this case, they're using a malicious JavaScript that's part of a compromised set of tools out there.
It's in the GitHub. They compromised the GitHub. Yeah. So think about this.
Talk around, you find out, man.
Exactly. FAFO hardcore example here. Think about this. You're using Trust Wallet. It's in the name, like we said. People use this thing. It's a commonly used software wallet. Think about the ways you can attack this thing. The GitHub is one, happened here. You also have Chrome Web Store API access. Number two, you have malicious build uploads from either internal or external factors or contributors, I should say. And then you have the other one that's big too, the auto update, auto release feature, right? If you have something on your computer, like in a Chrome extension, Chrome will ask you to just auto update that stuff. How many people are looking at their extensions before they update? My guess is not many. So you get that hazardous piece of software right away. And then by the time you realize it, it's way too late. You think Trust Wallet has a way to roll back the chains and get your NFTs back? And they don't. They don't. No one does.
Telecom speed dial?
Yeah.
If they do, then it's possible. You never know.
Yeah, it's just like, it's dumb. Not to mention that, one of the things we talk about all the time in Bitcoin, especially, again, on the hardware side, and to give NBK and CoinKite guys credit, this is not a problem that they have, but there are wallets that have these problems with UI compromises in terms of what users see compared to what's actually happening in the background. Because if you can manipulate a UI element without manipulating the backend, then you can change, or I have that inverse actually. If you can manipulate the backend without manipulating the UI, then you may send to an address that's not the address that you see. In this case, that didn't happen. But when you introduce these complications, yeah, you are bound to run into problems. And this is a good example of that. So, yeah, I see this question. Are people in the chat from Torup, are people draining, quote unquote, draining their own wallets to pretend they got rugged? Well, don't forget, I did say that was possible one time with a guy who got nabbed and said that he had, 5 million in Bitcoin stolen from him. I think there was a guy he might have been in France, but a year ago, maybe a little more than a year ago. I forget, but
if it's a one-off, it's possible. If it's this, where you have 2,500,
like this, different story. Yeah, different story. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, those one-offs, it definitely it's possible, especially with the NFT bullshit back in the day.
Oh
with,
my
with
God,
the wash
yeah.
trading and all.
Yeah.
So anything is possible. Like they're just buying it from themselves to try to bring shit up, to price things higher.
Totally.
Anyways.
Binance apparently is using their SAFU fund to help people with this, by the way, if you're into that sort of thing. I know some of you guys are still dabbling in the dark side, even though you listen to this show. So if you are, see if CZ can help you. He's out of jail now, so maybe he's got time for this.
Can you use Binance in Canada? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Yeah,
you got to jump.
I mean, you could VPN it or whatever, right?
But you have to provide some identity documents, right? Like a driver's license. Like you really got to jump through hoops to use Binance.
Depends on how much Binance cares, right?
I guess. I mean, we used to have Trade Ogre back in the day. And
we used to live in a society, We used to live in a society.
Trade Ogre. This piece by CNN, they did an investigation of people being scammed by the Circle K Bitcoin ATMs, right? Is it in Circle K? They have these, Bitcoin ATMs that the people that are running Circle K's, they want them there as attracting customers. It's a new form of revenue that they could generate from people. And people are getting calls, like mostly it's boomers, and they're getting shit like, taxes need to be paid, or you have an unpaid fine, something outstanding that needs to be paid. And the way that you could get it quickly, getting paid off, you can go directly to these Bitcoin ATMs, buy some Bitcoin to the address that the scammer says to send it to. It obviously, this is a total bullshit. And so they had a piece they're doing. In fact, when they were there filming, one guy was just about to send the money over, right? He was just about like $22,000. He put in the machine, $22,000. What a fucking fine he thought to have to pay. Like, nobody's gonna call you up and say you have to use Bitcoin to pay for something. It's bullshit. We still live in a fiat environment. If you have to pay any sort of bill, it's gonna be still use your bank account, use your credit card, shit like that. Nobody's gonna tell you to send send money to a Bitcoin address to pay off something. It doesn't happen. That's not the way it is. Total fucking scam. But they're painting these Bitcoin ATMs as a place where a lot of scammers are doing business and making people rich. It's just really another place to buy Bitcoin. That's what it really is. If people are too fucking dumb to understand what's a scam and what's not a scam,
yeah,
like what the fuck? Like, let's be honest. It's not the Bitcoin ATM that's a problem. It's people's mentality. They're fucking too trusting, too fucking dumb. Anyway, dumbass. They are dumb.
Let me give you some stats here, context about this. This is an interesting story to me because I've seen more and more ATMs popping up, including, by the way, of a convenience store in town has a Bitcoin ATM now, which they did not have, I think, 6 months ago. Last time I was in there for milk. How many FBI reports for crypto ATM scams do you think came through in 2025 in the States?
I will say 1,500.
12,000.
Oh,
it's a lot. The estimated losses. How much do you think? Give me your best guess for those 12,000.
1.5 million.
330 million.
People are so dumb.
Okay, now here's the thing that's interesting. Okay, the individuals who are getting
fucking money are people.
I know,
putting
but the
into these
people
fucking
getting
things.
clipped by
Jesus
this,
fucking Christ.
they're all seniors. They're 3 times more
100%.
likely to be seniors, which is weird because if you were a senior, if I ever told a senior in my life, like, would you ever think to pay a fine or like go to a Bitcoin ATM? Like, none of them would do it. I would guess you're probably the same. Now, maybe we're not the average sort of, you know, you're a Gen X, I'm a millennial, but are we in the right demographic where our seniors, like our parents' friends, whatever, our neighbors kind of know that, yeah, anytime someone calls you to go to an ATM, it's obviously a scam. There's some demographic out there that's not understanding this. And by the way, it's just over 60s. So it's not like it's over 75. It's not like it's over 55. It's over 60. It's not that old. Okay. These are people who have used a computer and printer. And I see you guys in the chat saying boomers are gullible. I know, but this is a lot. How about this? What responsibility do you think Circle K has in this story? Do they have any at all?
No.
Okay. I agree with that. And you know why I think they don't want to have any? Because I think there's probably a significant amount of traffic. At $330 million, that's a significant amount of traffic for, what is it? Bitcoin Depot, I think is the company in question here.
Yep.
They operate 8,000 of these ATMs across the United States at about $700 per month in rent. Do the math on that. 5.5 million. Do I have that right? It's quite a bit. So, you know, when you have that much money on the line, not only does the Circle K not want any responsibility, but you know who else doesn't want any? Bitcoin Depot. Nobody wants any responsibility here.
Well, it's beyond what they should be able to do, right? The Bitcoin Depot just sets up the Bitcoin ATM. Like, what more? They have to have a person stand there at every device.
The Circle Ks are sending warnings to their employees about the scams. During the investigation, I don't know how long the investigation went on for. I couldn't see that, but 17 of the 30 Circle K employees that they talked to had witnessed the scams firsthand, and 13 of those had the training on how to prevent scams in the stores. So they're preventing them maybe on like the money transfer side, like presuming you can do some other kind of financial transaction at a Circle K, whether it's like gift cards, you know, if someone comes in and buys up $500 in iTunes gift cards, the guy's 65 years old, the guy at the counter will say, hey, buddy, you know, you can't pay parking fines in iTunes gift cards. But if the same 65-year-old goes to the ATM with 20,000 in cash, like you said, what was the number? 22K?
22K.
That Circle K employee doesn't bat an eye. So is it like, where's the line here? I'm not 100% sure, but there's something here.
You know what?
That's going to be talked about over the next few years as these things become more. I don't know if ATMs become more active, because obviously law enforcement doesn't want you using ATMs, but there's some responsibility here, some social responsibility.
That same fucking idiot is going to lose his money on a fiat scam. Right? Like, somehow, like, if he didn't do it on this, somebody would have came to him and he would have paid a bill and he could have went to the bank and get it reversed, or he could use the credit card. But when you do that, sometimes the money that was sent to the scammer, they already spent it, so they have to somehow create more money. And this creates more money in circulation. We all pay for it as a result.
I refuse. I'm opting out.
And that's what you should do. You should exchange this. Oh, well, maybe not exactly this one, but you should exchange your Canadian dollars for Bitcoin. That's like just today, I was talking to my wife when I was mentioning, and I'm going to go into the Z-Man story, but just briefly. I was just saying, man, it's just fucking embarrassing. You know, it's just fucking embarrassing what's going on over there. But you know what?
We are the largest donor to the Ukraine per capita, right? After the most recent $2.5 billion loan. It's a loan. It
will be paid back,
just like the COVID ones.
Maybe
it's going to be hard to claw back the loan from Ukraine. A little harder than the COVID loans we're clawing back right now.
Interestingly enough, they have a lot of gold.
Yeah.
Why? You know, if somebody has an asset they could liquidate and they choose not to do it, I don't know. I would be asking questions. What's going on? We were talking about scams. Let's talk about this other scam. Somebody was posted on the crypto scam subreddit. I can't believe that was a fucking.
This is a subreddit. Wow.
Crypto scam is beautiful stuff. And this guy, I know this is an XRP story, but it does bleed itself into Bitcoin. This guy, he said that he lost $200,000 of his family's money, $200,000 worth of XRP, right? Fucking XRP. They essentially lost nothing. But he says this was the life savings of the family that was lost. Apparently, somebody in the family had access to the keys. He trusted the individual to have the keys, right? That person gave the keys to the scammer, right? So, right, this shit could even apply to Bitcoin, right? As long as somebody has
Is this in the show notes? Did I miss this?
I don't know. You might have made them. I don't know. It's an evolving document, and I have here. It's evergreen. But what the gist of this is, fuck the XRP part. Focus on the keys part.
Yeah.
Don't trust giving your keys to anybody. If you're gonna give them up to somebody, make sure damn fucking sure you trust them, because there is no way that you could have this reverse. Once it's gone, it's gone. Maybe not in the XRP world because it's very centralized and they could go to Ripple and have this reverse. But with Bitcoin, it's not the case. Be very careful with your keys. I know you think you're sharing with somebody and they might have the best of intentions initially, but once they have it, they could do anything they want. In this case, they gave it to a scammer, and a scammer rugged the whole family of the family fortune, $200K.
God, that is brutal.
That's
man.
pathetic.
Brutal.
It's a learning
family
experience.
Fortunes in XRP. Like, how many brutal parts of the story can there be?
This is a good learning experience. Not just don't invest in XRP, but the fact that you don't want to give your keys to anybody. They suffered this massive loss, and if you learn from it, you won't have to suffer this massive loss.
Yeah.
So learn from somebody else's stupidity and don't do what they do. Do the right thing. Secure your keys properly. Don't give them up to anybody, or else you could get rugged.
Hard to believe that again, like I don't have the background on this, but it's in the year of our Lord 2026, there are still people who are placing their faith in the XRP token to give themselves financial opportunity and financial freedom. How can this be? How can this be? Crypto scam sounds like a great subreddit, by the way. I'm gonna go check that out. Is it all one word? Is there an underscore in there somewhere?
No, just one word.
Crypto scams. Yeah, here it is. Oh, this is going to be a banger for sure.
But
yeah, this is good. 840K stolen. My hacker is swapping to Monero. Wow. Jeez, man.
It's gonzo at that point.
Yeah.
So a couple of weeks ago, we had this very big story that came out in Canada. It was the Canadian Tax Court. They overturned a CRA decision to deny Bitcoin loss write-off. And the story here is somebody opened an account with Quadriga back in 2017. And in 2019, Quadriga famously went tits up because Gerald Cotton, well, he died from Crohn's in India. And so the taxpayer in question here claimed a non-capital loss of $505,000 in her 2017 T1 tax report. And she said that that was the cumulative amount placed with Quadriga plus interest and other costs. So I would assume she probably had 400,000 she bought in 2017. Joey, that's a fortune now, an absolute fortune. That's Canadian dollars, by the way. And she's claiming it as a non-capital loss, and this would allow her to deduct against her income. And so was hoping her intention was to retire in her early 60s. If you want to hear a Bitcoiner here, Joy, this is it. She hoped to benefit from all this, and she ended up borrowing $2 million.
Mm-hmm.
She borrowed against her, took a second mortgage on her house, took advances on her credit card, did a whole bunch of shit. She did a lot over here. So she really went balls deep into getting into, but with respect to what was lost, she tried to use that loss from Quadriga as a way to improve her tax standing. CRA didn't like it initially, but the judge concluded that she likely incurred expenses that she's claiming to the purchase of the Bitcoin in 2017. The judge said her activities fell within the definition of a business, and therefore her loss was properly characterized as a non-capital loss deducted against all sources of income.
Yeah.
The boating attack or boating loss story could potentially be used moving forward. I think that a lot of people lost money in Quadriga. A lot of Canadians lost money, and they didn't do this type of thing. But now this judgment came out, they may be able to go retroactively fix their taxes.
It's going to be really hard. It's going to be really hard because this lady. Okay, so We're just going to steer off the path here for a second and talk about this ruling where the judge said that the woman demonstrated the indicia of commerciality. What does that mean? When you are trading stocks, for example, in your TFSA, okay, so just put on your fiat hat for a second. If you're buying stocks in your TFSA and selling stocks in your TFSA, most of the time, if I sell in my TFSA, I do it for the sake of rebalancing, for example. So if I'm heavy in one for certain equity, what I usually do is slide out, part of that stack to an index fund. Okay. There's some non-investment advice from your favorite Canadian podcaster. If I was ever to try and claim a loss with that activity, pretend it's outside the TFSA, because TFSA is kind of a separate entity. But let's say you were doing that kind of trading activity in a non-registered account and you wanted to claim a tax loss. And actually, no, we'll stay in the TFSA. Let's say you're doing that activity and you wanted to claim, and the CRA says, yeah, we think you're trading here too often for this to be a quote unquote like personal account. We think that you're demonstrating commerciality, indicia of commerciality. There's too much activity here. You're spending too much time and you're treating it like a business, basically, is like Len said, the standard. If that's the case, then there's a different set of rules that apply in terms of what your tax exemptions are, what your efficiencies are, and most importantly, what you can claim in terms of gain and loss at the end of the tax year, what you're required to claim in terms of gain and what you can claim in terms of loss. On the side of Quadriga, this lady had 100 plus Bitcoin purchases. She was on the account every day and was spending multiple hours per week, plus had leveraged positions. So for her to claim that loss was a little easier. For people who lost money on Quadriga, most people, 99% of people are not going to be able to say, I was using this in a commercial fashion. And so that loss is actually a loss that I should be able to claim on my taxes. There's just no way.
So what sort of documentation does one have to provide?
Well, this is the thing. So the CRA doesn't really have good rules about this. Like we've talked about before, the CRA makes the rules based on how they feel the morning that they review these things. So there is no standard, but like pornography, a commercial or business account when you see it. There's no way that someone with a regular account. Yeah, go ahead.
But think of an individual now, because Quadriga is gone. Mm-hmm. There's no documentation to be had. So if one just makes the claim, I was doing this as a business, I was actively doing trades.
They'll have to show it. Yeah.
Well, how could you not show it? So how can you? It's basically it's word. It's your word versus theirs.
Well, good luck. Yeah, I wish you the best of luck. Yeah.
For me, I wasn't there for the Quadriga. Saga,
I had money on Quadriga. A bunch of my friends had money on Quadriga. We didn't lose it, but we were smart enough to transfer to our then Ledger Nano S devices back in 2017, 18.
I never got a Ledger till much later on. And then
I got one pretty early. I
burned that motherfucker.
I was listening to the right podcast early on, I guess.
Which one?
Marty and Matt, I was listening to a lot. Who else?
Were
Pierre and Bitsine. Yeah, they may have talked about it. Somebody I was listening to talked about it. I don't remember who, but yeah, there you go.
If they had a Ledger apparel that you could wear, would you have done it at that time?
I don't think so. If I had to guess.
Hear about the Keonne Rodriguez?
Keonne.
They're saying that he might get a pardon.
Well,
I don't think that's going to be. Did you hear Trump talk about it?
Yeah, he doesn't know. But I mean, you can't expect the president to know everything that he's doing. Pardon.
Well, he at least had a little bit more information about CZ.
Yeah,
than he did about this one. He was more familiar.
Barron told him to release CZ. Yeah.
So yeah, and that's what CZ has. He's got in with the Trump clan. This guy Rodriguez, I don't think he's got the same type of connection.
His guy Rodriguez. I don't know much about him. You guys can look into the UTXO info storage that they were doing at Samourai and decide whether or not that constitutes a crime that the state is claiming. It may, in my opinion. I think a lot of Bitcoiners have a blind spot for that. But apart from that, again, in terms of the sort of wins of the morning on which these cases are reviewed by law enforcement and by the president, if there is an anti-Rodriguez individual in that office when they're reviewing pardons, They are going to show every picture of him wearing the dumb T-shirts, every tweet of him telling people that he's doing this stuff for Russian entities and skirting terrorism laws, whatever else he's tweeting about. It's a masterclass in how not to carry oneself should you be operating in what was obviously a legal gray zone and obviously going to cause you issues given the sort of political landscape of the day. So,
well, he has an uphill battle. Look, he's got a 5-year sentence.
Yeah.
Right. If this is going to be a grassroots movement like Ross, by the time they gather enough support to get whatever president's in power at that time to change this decision, the 5 years will have lapsed.
Won't matter. Yeah, won't matter.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
CZ, from what I remember, Binance did help out the World Liberty Fi with their stablecoin, providing them with code.
With the
so there was a connection between Binance, which CZ obviously is very much attached to, and World Liberty Fi, which the Trump family is attached to. So you can see the connection here, in which you're going to have CZ at least get an in for potentially being pardoned. Rodriguez, no hope in hell. That's the way I see it. I could be wrong.
I think you're right, Len. I think you're right.
Just like, you know, with Venezuela, dude.
You're going this direction too with like stable coins and stuff. And that's why I have my tag tonight as senior Panopticon correspondent. Like there is no place in modern governmental strategy guidebooks for Samourai. Sorry, there's just not. So, yeah, good luck with this. There's other ways to be private that are a lot less in your face, a lot less insulting, I would say, a lot less grating to the people in charge. Stuff like Lightning, you know, there's ways to obfuscate if you want to. I'm not recommending it, but this is not the way to carry yourself. And again, look into the information retention that these guys were doing, and decide whether or not you feel the same way about the sentence and about the man.
Are we going to look at Gensler's days as something that was positive?
Maybe. I lean much more toward laissez-faire SEC and just general 3-letter agencies than I do what I saw from Gensler. My other view on Gensler and his regime in general is that he was being dishonest about what he knew and understood and didn't know and didn't understand. Everyone saw those clips of him lecturing at MIT. He understood exactly what we were trying to accomplish, and then got to the SEC chairperson seat and completely forgot, you know. He's pretended he didn't know what we were talking about and that this whole thing was a scam or whatever. Like, that's frustrating. If you have an opinion, like, have the nuts to stick by it and articulate it and be clear about it and open up debate on it. He did none of those things. He chased business offshore and put American consumers in jeopardy, I think, in a lot of ways. And of course, don't forget that he stifled American innovation. And now America is, you know, trying to catch up in a lot of different sectors and silos. We'll see if they're able to do it. I think they probably will be able to do it. But yeah, he's a clown in my books.
Wow, so
what's he doing now, by the way? He hasn't been heard from.
That's what you want from somebody.
That is what you want, but it's very rare that that's what actually happens.
100%.
Yeah.
You're right.
Like, where's his op-ed in the New York Times, you know, when Trump launched his World Liberty Fi? Where was it? Like, it wasn't there. There's nowhere to be found.
Maybe he's just doing the smartest thing and he's sitting on a beach somewhere and living the life that he wants to live.
Maybe.
Away from everything. He's made his money and he's able to sustain himself with no bullshit, no pressure, right? Doesn't have to answer to anybody.
Could be.
I don't know. Maybe he's fucking living in New York amongst the chaos over there. The SEC chair right now, what's his name? Atkins? I don't even fucking know his
Atkins,
name.
Yeah.
So did you see this crypto task force roundtable that came out not too long ago? The name alone is just a fucking red flag, right? The crypto task force roundtable.
Yeah,
why were we not invited to
it?
It
is what it is. Yeah.
It is what it is, but there's going to be some things that come along with it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they came away with that, and he said he wants to assure people that the regulators have the best of intentions for the end users. That's what they're trying to say here. I would say give me a break, because let's be honest, they want to use this in ways that you maybe don't want it to be used. They say that they could deliver a framework that protects individual privacy, at the same time trying to deter illegal activities when using stuff like Bitcoin or maybe a stablecoin. And he does say that privacy is a core American value. And he also says that stuff like crypto, is what he says, could be a powerful financial surveillance tool.
He's correct about that. Yeah.
So when you have privacy and then you have surveillance, those two things don't seem to mix very well to me. It's like oil and water. But look, we just had the Tornado Cash guys, right? And Rodriguez is now in jail, right? Like, okay, maybe it's because they rub people the wrong way, but I think that there's going to be something coming out from all this, and I think a lot of people are not going to be pleased if they're going to be using this as a surveillance tool. And KYC-free Bitcoin for people that have it, I think this is going to be something that could be potentially very valuable to them in the future, because it's theirs. Nobody knows you have it, and you can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, I like the idea of this guy making these statements. This is refreshing, honestly. So he mentions Bentham's panopticon. You know what a panopticon is?
No.
Panopticon is like it's like let's consider like a circular room, okay? And all up and down there's prisoners in this jail that we've built here. And in the middle there's a guard tower. And the guard tower has windows that are tinted and are all around the tower. So you got the guard tower here, and then all around the tower are prisoners, all facing inward toward the guard's tower. Ostensibly, the guard or guards inside the tower can watch all prisoners at all times, but never actually let the prisoners know when they're watching. And so that has a psychological effect. People always think they're being surveilled, even if they're actually never being surveilled, because the possibility exists that someone is looking at your transactions or your actions or your behaviors or whatever, right? Your tendencies. And so it's a sort of a sociological chiller on the way people think and act. And, for him to come out and criticize what really was a Republican creation, this old consolidated audit trail program that they came up with after the 2008 crisis, where they started basically watching everything. They have tons of data collection, barely any regulatory oversight, because people were clamoring for more, quote unquote accountability. They never got it, of course, except for their own transactions, unfortunately. There's huge compliance costs for institutions and banks who want to do this, but they have no choice but to do it. And where do those costs go, Len? They go to you and me, right? The government stores data it doesn't even use. For him to say this, by the way, is kind of a whistle to I think the Patriot Act. Is that the thing Snowden uncovered? What was that whole deal? I forget. Snowden uncovered. God, I really should know this as a Bitcoiner. But anyway, these guys store a bunch of data they claim to not even be using, but I'm not 100% sure. And then obviously the expansion of this program just continued unabated. It was like this cancer spreading inside the Fed or the federal government. And the expectations continue to become more and more cumbersome. And like people always talk about, much like the TSA, you have these expansive programs and erosion of privacy with very little results. How many, what are you stopping from happening, right? The TSA makes a similar argument that the CAT used to make, that, well, the reason nothing is happening is because we know we could catch them. Well, it's not entirely true. And also it's not provable. So like, you can't really say this stuff. But it does show a little bit of guts on his part to criticize something that was, a product of the party that he's representing. Now, I don't know if what we're going to see, are we going to see this government really embrace anonymity in finance? Because really, Bitcoin can give you anonymity if used correctly. That's a bit of a bridge still to cross. But I mean, this is a kind of a step in the right direction, a little bit. We'll see. At the end of the day, like privacy on chain is sort of like illusory, right? if you have like passive IP monitoring and you don't take care with your transactions, plus KYC exchanges, and it's not like you have to be really careful to have a private Bitcoin transaction. You know what I mean? So, does it really matter long term whether they decide to quote unquote monitor you? I don't know. People are seemingly sloppy with the way they use Bitcoin anyway. Honestly.
Well, if one has KYC free Bitcoin, I would assume they would know how to use it in such a way that is harder to track. But of course, I have to suggest or say that you have to pay your taxes. I don't want to say skirt the tax system. CRA, if you want to come after me, I'm not suggesting you. Every time you spend your Bitcoin, make sure you report that to the tax authorities, right? But yeah, if you're going to use it, if you have KYC free Bitcoin, I think that you don't have to jump through hoops.
Well, when you use it, like for example, okay, you and me, if I have KYC free Bitcoin and you're a vendor, I'm going to, like, I say to you, yeah, I'll send you XYZ sats from my private wallet. You go, okay, sure. And now you know that I got it. And so now you're a security hole for me.
Okay.
Yeah. Like that, like there's really like you're using it or you're losing it. And in either case, like you're kind of burned, right?
No. The fact that somebody
will you tell me how do you use KYC free sats without the second party being a security hole?
The only thing that you're saying is that you own KYC free Bitcoin. You don't say how much you have. You say you just own it, and that is it. Now you're disclosing it to the person.
We have this fundamental disagreement about the nature of what the government cares about and what they think what you think they have to prove is different than what I think they have to prove.
So that's exactly it. So we agree to disagree at this point. They think that you have 500 Bitcoin, the KYC, whatever. Pick a number. It's it's not the truth, right? Like all you could go on base is what you could present. That's it. If somebody asks me how much I have, and if they really push it, I can present what I have. And if you say no, you have more. How do I fucking have more? I'm not gonna fucking create more. I have what I have. That's it, right? So like, that's basically it. So I think
I hope it works. I hope it works for you. I do. I hope it works.
I think it will. I think it will. So the UK, let's talk about them because they're hurting for cash and they've started a crackdown on people who are trying to use shit like Bitcoin and to get around taxes, paying for it. So January 1st, 2026, the government began enforcing the crypto asset reporting framework. And these are rules to prevent crypto tax evasion and improve transparency in the market. This goes well with the previous story we talked about. And a new system requires crypto exchanges and platforms to collect and share detailed information such as wallet activity, transaction history, and details for their taxes, such as national insurance number with the tax authorities. I think that UK might be trying to fund the Z-Man's new yacht. That's what I'm guessing. And this is all part of data collection system that has started in 48 countries. And 48 countries started 2027. Canada's not in there, but they're in there for 2028.
Yeah.
So we will be subjected to that. And so, interesting stuff. So if you've bought from an exchange in Canada, they could ask for this information.
CRA is going to have exchange data starting in 27. So
starting 2027, January 1.
Yeah, that's when they'll get that collection. Yeah, you have 1 to 2 years to voluntarily disclose unreported gains, not unreported and unrealized, of course. So I would say just if you're not selling, then don't worry about it. And by the way, like you're seeing these services pop up more and more, these retain custody of your sats and use it for a loan. Like that's going to become a big deal for a lot of these countries because we're going to use the same services that, equity rich people are using, real estate rich people are using. I don't want to sell, right? I want to use what I got and use it as collateral. And that's going to come over the next few years. I wouldn't worry about this. This is sort of like they're trying to catch again. it's politically popular because people don't like that Bitcoiners, and to be honest with you, crypto token holders in general are getting wealthy. And they feel like, again, it's locked up capital. They're not paying their fair share. Like, pick your slogan, whatever. But they're not going to get the people that are the whales, because the whales know how to transact privately, know how to use the Bitcoin without selling, know how to do all that stuff.
A moment ago that once you started transacting,
no. Like, I know. But I'm saying, like, lightning wallets and stuff, like, there's ways to do this that make sense. And whether it's like XMR, for example, or whatever else, like there were so many opportunities over the years to get this right from a privacy standpoint if you were a frequent user. Now in
100%,
Canada,
100%.
You know what I'd be curious about? Like, in Calgary, Ben Parent Sessions, hosts this like Sats market thing, right? Where people are taking Bitcoin and using Bitcoin for retail transactions. Or these guys who are living on a Bitcoin standard, right? They're paid all in Bitcoin. They transact all in Bitcoin. Like, what's the CRA going to say about those people? What's that tax bill going to look like? This is why, like, I love the idea of living on a Bitcoin standard, but, you basically traded the headache that you're going to incur over the next few years. If you spent the last, let's say 5 years as the Bitcoin price ran up, living on a Bitcoin standard, if you spent that 5 years trading Bitcoin for services and goods, because you wanted to post on Twitter or go on podcasts and talk about how you were living the Bitcoin ethos, I wish you luck. You're going to fucking need it when these guys come knocking.
The first person through the wall is always the bloodiest.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are going to take it the hardest. And that's the reality. Look, if you have been only buying and just stacking, you're okay, because according to the laws, it's not a taxable event. I'm still trying to get to my 0.1. Well, 100%. They can change the laws, but up until now, nothing has been. So I'm still trying to get to my 0.1 Bitcoin so I can fucking retire. But until then, I'm just always going to continually buy, right? And that's the way to do it, I think, for now. I mean, if you want to spend all more power to you, it is right. It is a medium of exchange as well. Mm-hmm. But depending on which jurisdiction you're in, there could be some sort of reporting requirement. I'm not sure which is free. Is it fucking Portugal? Is the only?
I don't think so.
I think I've read that numerous times, that you're able to spend Bitcoin over there and have it tax free. But I don't know. I have no intention to live there.
No.
I think that's it for. Is we gotta.
Is it?
An hour in. Yeah, it's an hour in, man.
All right.
Just about.
Let's move on. We're going to the notable stories. Hang with us if you're on video. If you're on audio, come back tomorrow. And of course, don't forget about Brandon Hamilton, man, coming up in the back half too. Yeah.
Don't be a cuck.
Don't be a cuck. Okay, well, 57.57. That was good. Good timing there. I bought a watch the other day, and I told the guy at the store that I would talk a bit about the watch on the stream. This is the watch. It's a Mito Ocean Star, but it's some kind of special edition Ocean Star.
Mito, M-E-E-T-O?
M-I-D-O. Swiss automatic. I don't have a watch. M-I-D-O. Mito. And a buddy of mine has been a big horology guy for 10 years now, minimum. And I've been bugging him kind of to start looking for one for me in the, I don't want to say how much I spent on it. You can look it up yourself, but it wasn't cheap, but it wasn't super expensive. And so I went to visit with him and his guy at this place, Ocean Fine Jewelry in Burlington. I had so much fun there, Len. I love stores that really take care of their customers. There's 2 stores I can say now with confidence that if you want to get something that's really going to last you and you're going to spend a little more money on than maybe you would at a mall, but you're going to enjoy the experience, you're going to learn something, and you're going to really feel like you're the center of attention during the shopping experience. One of them is Miller's Shoes in downtown Hamilton on James Street, and the other one is Ocean Fine Jewelry in Burlington. So if you're ever looking for a watch and you're in the area, let me know, and I'll put you in touch with John over at Ocean Fine Jewelry. Awesome experience, man. I cannot stress enough how nice it is to go to a place and have someone actually understand what you're looking for give you ideas and reference points and context and history. Like the history this guy knew about all the different watches. Awesome stuff. Really enjoyed it.
Don't forget, when you get the payment for the plug, half goes to me. Right?
I wish. We gotta get another sponsor. Who do we talk to about that?
I don't know, but this was an unsanctioned sponsor event.
And to be honest, we hardly ever do it. I just wanted to say, like, I told the guy, he's like, you should post this on your Instagram. And I said, well, I have a different idea, and I'm happy to do it. I really enjoyed, I think I was there for like an hour and a half trying on watches and learning about them, and it was good. It was really good. I worry now that I'm going to be obsessed with watches, but that's okay. I'll worry about that another time.
You're rich. You have 0.1 Bitcoin.
Yeah, I can retire, I heard. So
yeah.
I'm in spending mode now.
Yeah.
I see Boomer saying, Boomer, I'm flashing my watch like a Somali daycare owner.
Yeah.
Is that in the notes? I don't think
No.
it's in the notes.
Well, we could just talk about that. It's an absolute. And the funny thing is, a lot of people are just unaware.
Yeah.
Waltz today decided to. He said
He's
not gonna
done.
be
Yeah,
running.
he's done.
And why would
you see his letter?
not
His
want
letter,
to run?
Len, his letter was basically that he can't run because he's got to focus on finding more fraud.
No.
What a clown.
You know that when there's been enough pillaging of what people are like, shit like this.
Yeah,
just hurts the common folk, right? And just like the Z-Man getting the new economic advisor.
How much do you think it's related to? Like, I see a lot of people saying it's about like race and immigration and stuff. Like, I think it is a little bit about that. There's probably a sore spot there for Minnesotans.
No.
The immigration part, I think there is. I'll tell you why, and you tell me why I'm wrong.
Go ahead.
Because it's not about necessarily like the fraud. Okay. Even if the claim from Minnesota's state government is true, that these places are legitimate, they're watching kids, the funding is going toward daycare activities. The thing that I think I would be mad about is that the best case scenario, I tweeted this the other day, the best case scenario is that you have a bunch of Somali immigrants, 80% of whom are on welfare. Those are the numbers. Okay. 80% are on welfare, opening daycares with government money and only watching other Somali kids whose parents are also on welfare. So the parents aren't working, but still can't watch their kids. And the daycares are only open to kids who immigrated to the United States and who are sucking on the public teat.
So
that's the best case scenario.
People are angry because of race or immigrants. Is that what you're
Immigration,
saying?
yeah. The people who are mad that, like, okay, Somalians are black. Like, okay, who cares? But like the immigrant thing should bother people, I think, because if that's the best case scenario, that's
give you people have been upset for years about what's happening with Ukraine.
Yeah,
and it's going to be very difficult to say the people in Ukraine are not white as fucking white.
Yeah, agreed.
So it's not.
Yeah, those people. I totally.
It's not. They're not even living in the United States. They're not living in. They're living in Ukraine, and people are upset at what's going on over there because there's a perceived level of corruption. This is not what I'm saying. You can read the reports about this pre-war, during war, and once the war is finished, this level of corruption is always going to be something that they have to tackle. It's an issue that's been, for whatever reason. Either way, what I'm trying to get at it's not an immigration issue. It's not a race issue. Not a skin color issue. It's a fucking fraud problem. That's what it is. People are upset about fraud. Period. Whoever fucking does it, they're the people that become. I don't want to say public enemy number one, but they're the people that look at it and say, "What the fuck's going on here?"
Yeah.
So that's my point of view. Anyways, that's fucking nuts. What's going on in Minnesota? They changed the flag too.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It is.
That guy could have if Tim Walz just wanted to be like a nobody politician and stay under the radar and just live a good life, probably could have won another election or two. All he had to do is not be the VP candidate, and he would have been fine. But as soon as he became the VP candidate, I think that was part of it. As soon as he became the VP candidate, and this other guy, like the mayor, Jacob Frey, who cannot help but like do Somali dances and speak Somalian during public, addresses, and like you're just drawing too much attention to yourself. It's really that simple. And it's a lesson. There's a lesson in there somewhere. I don't know exactly what it is, but just when you got a good thing going, especially if it's a little bit of an illegal thing, don't go hard in the press. Everyone's seen by this point the amount of donations these daycares are making to to Democratic politicians too, and the party, and like,
I wonder if there's even making the Republican Party. They're hedging their best.
God, I don't know.
Because right, it only makes sense if you want to do that. You play both sides, right?
Yeah, George Floyd was in Minnesota too, tore up. I forgot about that in the chat. You mentioning that. Yeah, the day he ascended to heaven really was a turning point for.
They're putting statues of him up some places, right?
The least they could do. St. George, come on.
Mm-hmm. Maduro.
Oh man,
I want to just interesting. Like this came all of a sudden, and there's just a.
You think it came all of a sudden? How do you think he felt? I think he felt.
Well, what I want to know is
snatched him up in the middle of the night.
The U.S. went in with force, right? They didn't go in with just one person. They went in with some helicopters, some bombers, and everything. But from what I just don't understand is how could the United States enter into a country, into the capital of the country, and snag somebody with seemingly minimal damage? I know that some people died and some, but when you're getting the head of a state of some country, I'd expect more fighting, more resistance, right? It just it seemed like there was not much for whatever reason. It just seemed very odd that minimal damage was done. And this is with, I'm not trying to downplay a few people that die here, but not to the degree what I thought should have happened if you're going to go in and take somebody by force like this. Mm-hmm. It seemed like they didn't want to keep them there. Did they just like open the doors and say, like, it just seemed odd. And another thing that's a little fucked up too, I found, is, do you see that hat he's wearing, that toque? It almost looks like, take a look at it, Joey. It almost looks like, to me, he went to Disneyland. He didn't go to Disneyland. There's no way he did. But the fucking hat looks funny to me. It looks like he's got 2 Mickey Mouse ears in it for whatever reason. And those flip-flops he has. It's like he's driving a fucking truck over here. Like, the guy, he was ill-prepared for this thing. Like, get some fucking shoes, man. Yeah. Get a better hat.
I like this way
with the Mickey Mouse.
I want to point out, Nick Carter wrote this too.
Oh yeah,
upending a government in the hemisphere is pretty standard fare for U.S. Like, it's sort of banal faux for them, and just because they haven't done it since like the 70s or 80s doesn't mean they're not thinking about doing it. And now
Noriega was the last one. Am I wrong?
Yeah, maybe. And now the stakes are quite high. Like there's clearly a scramble here for resources, allegiances, partnerships. And as that U.S. foreign policy doctrine said, a month or two ago, I still recommend people read that, or at least like ChatGPT, a summary of it. It's only like 30 pages. It's pretty good. There's clearly a shift in the way the U.S. thinks about domestic foreign policy and quote unquote America first. And part of that America first strategy is we do not let our enemies plant flags in our hemisphere. Our enemies include foreign governments and ways of life and political systems antithetical to the American way of thinking. So this is in line. And it's been like this for a long, long time. Okay? Long time. I don't know how these like commies are marching in the street talking about we want Maduro back. Well, on TV, Venezuelans are celebrating the guy being removed from office, dragging statues of old dictators around. And now the new quote unquote government or his cronies are trying to arrest people who are complicit in the nab. It's over for them, man. It's over.
And a lot of this is probably people are professional protesters.
Oh yeah, big time. Of course, the left is full of those people. Yeah.
In Europe, I'm gonna guess in Spain, because there was some Venezuelan that was there, and he approached a protest, and he was talking to them in Spanish. So that's why I'm assuming this was in Spain. And he was asking them, "Are you Venezuelan?" "No." "Are you Venezuelan?" "No." Then somebody said, "Yeah, I'm from Venezuela." "Where?" "From Toros," and I forget what he said. He said, "Where from there?" He said he couldn't give the right answer. So he said, "You're not fucking Venezuelan." Essentially, what it is there's people out there. There are no blood relation, no connection whatsoever to Venezuela, but they're fucking protesting. They're professional protesters. Even here in Toronto, or
Yeah.
I mean, in Canada, in Toronto, they're doing protests outside the U.S. consulate. And again, the suspected that they're professional protesters, that they were the ones that were out there. No connection, no whatever, but they're just there doing their thing. And this happens all the time, right? Like, why? Like, why would you want to have him go back?
No.
Have things been great?
They've been going
tenure?
swimmingly. Been going swimmingly. Yeah.
People
you have
have
any
been
opinion on
leaving
this,
to go to
like,
different countries.
Yeah.
Because they can't get food to eat.
Yeah. I know.
The level of corruption that's happened over there, they have so much oil.
Unprecedented, man. Country was richer than Poland in 1990. And now Poland has an economy about the size of Japan, and Venezuela's in tatters.
When Chavez was there, one of the things that he did, he got rid of a lot of people that were in charge of like the oil shit and stuff. And then they left. They came to Canada because they brought that knowledge of dealing with heavy oil, like sour oil, to work Alberta, which is kind of the same type of thing. They lost that knowledge. They lost that expertise. And over time, it eroded their oil production. And now it's like they make up 4% of the world's exports for oil, where they have like half the world's or second most amount of oil sitting under their feet. Like it's just stupidity that they've done this. They enriched themselves at the expense of everybody else.
Yeah.
If you can say what you want about a socialist or a communist system, but if they did it right, if there was, it's easy to say, but if there's no corruption, they use the proceeds of oil to fund for medical care, to fund for schools, to fund for shit, to help people out. That could be a system somebody could look at and say, look, this is where it works. But clearly it never does work. It never does. It's always corruption. There's always something that comes out.
The people talking about, oh, this is going to be bad for Canadian oil. I happen to agree with that stance. I think the U.S. is built to refine oil that we have and also that Venezuela has. So there's that to consider. Although my understanding is that it's going to take a long time to get infrastructure online to get oil from Venezuela to the United States. So take all that with a grain of salt. But the point, still stands that clearly there is something over there that was rubbing them the wrong way. Now they're talking about Greenland. They're talking about Colombia. They're talking about all sorts of different regimes.
Cuba, Mexico.
They don't like. I don't like this
I
regime.
think that's just saber rattling at this point.
It was saber rattling until Maduro started dancing on TV. And
the other ones are not going to do that
anymore. Well, they're certainly not going to do it now, but that bar may become lower if they decide.
The governor of Greenland, I'm not sure who the fucking.
I need to find out. We're open. Call us. We're open.
But like I said, the guy's always traveling. Yeah, so it's impossible to get him. So we're safe.
Need Barron's cell phone number. That's who we got to be calling for foreign policy action. Anyway, where do you want to go next?
I want to talk about in Canada. Well, the 70,000 Canada dental care plan claims that were.
Do you want to let's talk about the asylum claims first?
Oh,
since it's in the title of the show. Yeah.
All right. So what do we got here? It's over 500,000 asylum claims just waiting to be heard. 504,000 to be specific, and we have so many cases that are just waiting to be heard. It takes quite a while to hear this. The system is set up for a limited amount of asylum claims. That's why the backlog continues to grow, because it's not set up to deal with so many cases. They weren't expecting this, but the people that are here that want to stay here, they came here as temporary foreign workers. They came here as students. They came here as visitors. They see here, they want to stay here. So the one way they could do it is stay here is to claim for a refugee, make an asylum claim. And so they're just waiting to be heard. And this number is probably going to grow. 504,000 is what we have here, because in 2026, I was reading 1 million people are going to lose status this year.
Yeah. So, I mean,
so they're going to have to.
Where are they going to go? Is the question.
Right.
Are they leaving, or they're just going to go underground? I don't know.
You're going to expect a few of them to go back, or a lot of them to go back. I don't know. But some of them are probably going to try to remain here to put an asylum claim. And it's just, when you do that, they're eligible for healthcare coverage.
Yep.
they're eligible. There's a few things they're eligible for, and 504,000 out of 40 million. That's measurable, right? And that number is going to grow. Whatever.
People who put in claims today, when they get heard,
3 years is my guess.
2030. So,
and in the past, what was it?
That's a good question. I don't know, but I do know that if we look at the historical trends, in 2022 we had 54,000 asylum claims, and then in 25, obviously 500,000. So quite a bit. Even if you just look at the first half of 25, 750 or 7,500 claims filed in May, 8,000 filed in June, and then in July a rip up to almost 12,000 in the same month. So we've obviously seen the story. So there's really two or three factors, right? One is that people who are being sent home are saying that their asylum claims, they can't go back home because they're suddenly gay or something, like obviously bullshit. There's other people who are committing crimes here and we're trying to deport them and they're being sent to asylum court instead after claims. These guys out west just went through that. They tried to kidnap somebody or did kidnap somebody successfully and ended up filing asylum claims instead of being prosecuted. So there's that. And then of course, people who just don't want to leave, like they don't want to go back home and they say, well, I'm an asylum claimant now, so you can't get rid of me. And it basically at this point buys them another 4 years. Now you'll remember that Carney, when he was elected, did pass a law, or they are working on a law now, that allows for the broad and immediate rejection of all asylum claims. They can basically reset everything if they want. And if you look on Reddit, some of these like LMIA subreddits and immigration subreddits and asylum subreddits, people are screeching about this, mostly Indians, talking about how it's not fair. I tried to plan my life in Canada. Like, I have no sympathy for these people. I don't want them here. We don't need more immigration, certainly not from those countries. If Western Europe wants to immigrate here, sure. Even if Eastern Europeans want to immigrate here, sure. But like, we can't have more people from India and Africa. Unfortunately, there's too many over the last few years. We have to start doing some demographic splitting, because there are enclaves forming all over the country. Every week we talk about some guy from Brampton who invariably is Indian doing something stupid and or criminal, for laughs. This didn't happen 10 or 15 years ago, right? And one of the problems is that we've been unable to talk about this because of political norms, but that Overton window is blown wide open now, and everyone should be talking about it. I don't know about you, but I'll share a story. Over the New Year, we had a little one's, a kids party, a fake ball drop for 7 p.m. And so I had all my friends here with their kids from 3 to 7. That was the topic of conversation. That was unthinkable for that friend group 3 years ago, 2 years ago. And now everyone's talking about it. And that tells me that people are tired of this. So I expect to see that negative attitude toward immigration continue. And I don't think a lot of people are going to have patience for asylum.
You saw that video from Pierre Polyev?
Yeah, of course.
Gym?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. I think that it's enough. Nothing more to say about that. So in terms of Carney talking about to expedite some of this stuff,
yeah,
it may happen. Keep in mind, we also have this, what is it, safe third country thing. Like if you're somebody,
you can't go through a safe country to get to a third country.
So
yeah.
The one that
by the
came
way,
up recently was the guy from Haiti.
But look, Glenn, the top countries in the first half of 2025, number 5 on the list is USA.
Okay.
So like, you got to wonder where those people are coming from. Anyway, continue.
Well,
it's an interesting thing.
There was people that were originally from Haiti. They went to United States. They were there, I think, New York State, and they crossed into Quebec. I'm guessing that's what it was. Either way, they crossed into Quebec. I don't know if it was from New York. And now their asylum claim is being heard here. But the way I understand this, though, because they were in the United States, why didn't they make their claim there? Like, that's a country that should have heard their claim, right?
The U.S. doesn't care. They don't want.
They
those
may
people.
not care, but Canada has to say, "Look, you could have done it. You could have made a claim there." And
we don't have the clout to say it. Well, so, and our country, our politicians are reliant on this, this ethos of compassion at the cost of basically everything, culture, economics, you name it.
So to go back to the expediting the backlog of claims, I don't think it's going to happen, right? I think it
No,
was,
I don't
you know,
think so either. I think you're right.
between what we see that's transpired since the election and the official opposition, what he's posting, right? Like I don't know. I think it's going to be good times moving forward, man.
Yeah.
Right? And there's, you know, okay, you know what? I want to talk about something interesting too. This is a good one, Joey. This TTC, they painted the road and they were trying to identify priority streetcar lanes in the city of Toronto.
Okay.
And they did this November. They started painting it. The fucking paint is already peeling off the roads. Right? Like within just a matter of less than 2 months. And they're saying at Bathurst and Niagara streets, if you look at the pictures, just huge amounts of paint just ripped off. And they say decay was caused because of contaminated surfaces such as road salt, which they say can prevent the paint from properly adhering to the pavement.
In November. Shocker.
They also add that the cold temperature and the freeze-thaw cycles could cause cracking. I can't believe this happened in Toronto. And the snowplows may catch and raise any edges, resulting in the paint being lifted. And they say any worn pavement will be dressed in spring of 2026 and completed during the warmer weather. So, like, let's be honest, it snows here, right? Like, no matter what you say about this being the warmest year on record, it fucking snows. Yeah. And the snow, you have to deal with it. Either you fucking just let it sit there and people just get into accidents because they don't know how to fucking drive, or you get the fucking salt out, you get the snow plows out, and you do some damage to the road. This has to happen. I can't believe they're fucking doing this. It's priorities, the lanes, they have to paint the shit. It's fucking ridiculous. Like, the amount of money that is being wasted on this, it could be spent on somebody getting some food, shelter, a job. You know, there's so much more it could be, but no, they had to put it on this. No. Whatever.
We love spending money. We Toronto. D's laughs in the chat saying that there was no warning they were going to do it. It's confusing, and of course, the immigrant angle. They don't know the rules, don't care about the rules, whatever, and they're driving all over the place. So let's, you know, if you think about not only the cost of the taxpayers for the shutdown and the contract and the work and all that, now you're gonna have to do it twice. And then what is the GDP cost, the man-hour cost for the extra traffic slowdowns? It's like, it's incalculable how much money is actually lost on something like this. And
but they like to look at that broken window
twice.
And they say we got to replace that paint.
Yeah. Sure, I know.
Benefit. I got a beauty of a story here, Joy.
I'm sure.
From City News, they say that an Air India pilot was arrested at a Vancouver International Airport, or at the Vancouver International Airport last week because he was preparing for a flight. So the pilot was preparing to get on the plane, and Transport Canada, they said no because they got some complaints, some intel. Apparently the guy was consuming alcohol. Yeah, so the pilot was preparing to take the Air India flight as scheduled from Vancouver to Delhi, and they put the kibosh to that. It
just had a couple beers.
Had a little bit too much to drink, and so that plane was scheduled to depart at 3 p.m. It didn't leave till 10 o'clock that night.
Nice.
So 7 hours late.
Nice.
They found somebody else that could fly that sucker.
He just gave maybe they just gave him a cup of coffee. It could have been the same guy.
So 7 hours, yeah. So yeah, they were given some information from the flight attendants over there, and Transport Canada got the wind that something happened. This shit, I can't believe this stuff happens. You know, like you're dealing with people's lives, and there is no like rewind a tape here and fucking fix it. This is it. I can't believe this shit happens. Like, why can't you believe it?
Why can't you believe that culture doesn't have a good grasp on certain things?
It's not the culture. I'm just looking at the level of authority you have, the responsibility one has as a fucking like flying a fucking plane. But I guess not everybody sees it the same. And I'm not a fucking pilot, but
no. Isn't there two pilots in the cockpit? I think there is, right?
Yeah, there's what the fuck?
Co-pilot
or something?
Yeah. Intern. I don't know.
No.
People who drink. Like if you're a drinker, Okay. There are certain careers you cannot occupy,
Truck driver.
heavy equipment, trucks, like whatever. Airplanes got to be among them. So this is what people are talking about too, by the way, when they say like, I don't want to get on a plane. There's a competency crisis. Yeah, this is a good example of that. I also am more and more reluctant to fly, certainly internationally. I could be convinced to fly domestically, of course, but internationally, no, I don't think so, man. You're gonna have to do some convincing. Anything outside Canada and the US, it's gonna be a tough sell.
And you're stuck within those two borders for the remainder of your life, Joey.
Yeah,
You gotta live a little. Roll the dice. Let's talk about this other great story from CP24. It says that GTA residents believe crime is surging.
Yeah,
when it's actually the opposite.
This is amazing stuff here. Amazing stuff.
There was a survey that came out, and it said that nearly 3/4 of Torontonians said that they were under the impression that murders are up in the community and across the country. And they say despite a historic drop of more than 50% from last year. In fact, Peel police say that they've reported only 10 homicides through October 2025 compared to 19 in 2024. And over in New York regions, murders were down by about 67%. And I see this number. It reminds me of a Simpsons. I'm going to play it for you. There's a Simpsons episode. Let me just get it.
900%. Oh, people can come up with.
This is
Mr. Simpson, how do you respond to the charge that petty vandalism such as graffiti is down 80%, while heavy sack beatings are up a shocking 900%? Oh, people can come up with statistics to prove anything can't. 40% of all people know that.
It's very applicable here. The sure murders may be down. Maybe they do better at treating gunshots and stab wounds and everything just because of
That's right.
experience, right?
That's right. Yeah.
But other things, man.
Super selective data set there. Absolutely insane.
People
Absolutely
are
insane.
blocking cars so they won't get stolen. People's houses are being broken into. The Toronto police was saying, please leave your shit at the front door, the keys to the front door, so that way they get easier access to it. I mean, I'm paraphrasing. It's not exactly what they said. And another one was when they don't engage the people breaking into homes, just let them do their thing. I'm paraphrasing here. Like, this is not a society that's trending in the right direction. It's trending obviously in the wrong direction. Just today, somebody was shot taking the GO bus in Toronto near Yorkdale.
Yep.
I guess things are getting better.
I think there's two things. Okay, so let's pretend. I'll give you the two sort of sides to the coin I'm thinking of here. I think the data being collected is leaving room for interpretation. Okay. Murders, my understanding, are only reported as murders in the data where there is a suspect. Okay. That's number one. So if there's no suspect, it doesn't get reported. Now, I don't know how many that is, but it's not zero. That's one problem. Petty crime like theft is not going to get reported. I don't need to go to the police if my phone gets stolen. I just go to Apple. They lock the phone. They give me a new one. There's no point in going to the police, especially when it's going to cost me time, inconvenience, and what is the likely outcome in 99.99% of cases? You fill out paperwork, they put it in a drawer, and then they forget about it, right? Okay. The other thing I think is going on is that there is I think a bit of a difference between crime, what you and I perceive as criminal, or what some people perceive as criminal, and public disorder. Drugs, alcohol, abuse, vagrants, screaming, public conflict, public fights, stuff like that. That doesn't get captured in crime data, but these are invariably causing some of the same problems. They're making certain parts of the city intolerable to walk through, intolerable to live, intolerable to do business or open a business or go to school or raise a family, blah, blah, blah. So public disorder, is not reported anywhere, but there are entire parts of the city where nobody goes because they're basically too dangerous, right? So what you're doing is preventing crime by not letting people go to huge chunks of an area in which they live. Is that really lower crime? I guess the data would say that, but in terms of the output and the effect, not really. Public disorder means something. And I don't think that the police, when the police ask for their budget increase every year, 7%, 11%, I can't remember what the Hamilton police were looking for, somewhere around there this year. People in city council will say, hey, crime is down. Any sensible person would say, yeah, but there's more and more parts of the city you can't go to after dark. Like you can't go to, in Hamilton, you can't go to Jackson Square. Increasingly, you shouldn't be in Lime Ridge Mall, Eastgate, any of these places, down by the Coliseum, down by the stadium. It's just too dangerous. Anywhere past Barton Street, like you can't go there. You decide what that's worth to you as a city. If it's worth looking into giving the police more money to prevent that kind of thing from continuing to proliferate, then yeah, you should do it. But it's really something to me, the people who are using this, because this is really what's going on, right? If you look on Twitter, the feedback is always the same. It's always the dyed in the wool commies and libs talking about this. We can't give the police more money. They're not doing their job, or crime is down. We don't need to give them more money. Like, you're missing the point. Policing, you get mad because policing has become reactive. If you want to become preventative and stop some of these things that are happening, you need to increase budgets. And I realize it's not quite the meat of the story, but there is something to be said for this dichotomy or this like distinction between public disorder and crime, and whether or not those things pragmatically are the same for the people who can't enjoy the city that they live in.
Mm-hmm. I grew up in an area of Toronto which is now rough. When we first moved there,
where is it?
I don't want to even say it. It was not rough. It was actually a decent place. And in just 10, 15 years, I witnessed very quickly how things went downhill. And it was in a very small section of Toronto that it happened. But I see this now happening on a larger scale. That's why when I say, prepare to GTFO, it's because what I experienced, I'm experiencing again. And now it's just happening everywhere. And you can, if you want, pick up and go to a faraway place within Ontario or wherever. But if that's your jam, all the more power to you. But it's not mine, right? So like I'm just trying to just tell people out there, find alternatives, find something else out there that this is not the only place you're forced to be. Yeah, you have mobility, and if there's somewhere that is better, that's better for you, better for your family, better for your job, better for everything. Why not explore it? You're not stuck here. No,
you're not. There's one other thing I wanted to point out, that it's funny, the media is reporting on crime being low, but if you look in both Toronto and Hamilton, for voters, the number one issue is crime. So again, like, you're being told to kind of ignore what you see and what you're experiencing in favor of this data point that's, admittedly, they've massaged this over the years. Admittedly, people are not reporting crimes. Admittedly, public disorder is causing problems. To me, it's very convenient that the messaging is like really universal from a lot of these major metros over the last, I don't know, week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. You've seen these stories come out one after another. I guess because the end of the year reports are coming in from police departments, right?
Yeah, but just the general feeling, right? You want to raise a family. You want your family to walk out and, in the daytime, even, the evening, without having any fear. You want to have your car out there and not get stolen. Like, not that long ago over here, my neighbor would leave his motorcycle with his key in it. And he's like, he's gonna fucking take it. Nobody to take it, right?
I left my keys in my car for like 4 days over the break when I was busy at home, and nothing happened. I couldn't find them. I thought I had like left them in my pants or something, and they were actually in the front seat of my car.
Yeah. That's nice. Anyways, let's talk about.
Should we go to Hamilton, Brampton? We're over
exactly
an hour and a half
where I want to go.
Yeah, okay, let's rip it. Brought to you by our friends at 256 Heat. Tuan made us a mean steak at his place last week. Sorry you guys couldn't be there. Your invite got lost in the mail. But like I was saying in the intro, he is working on some crazy shit. There's a new unit configuration coming that I won't share. I'll let him share it at some point when he wants to talk about it. He can come on, or he can tweet it or whatever. But my S19 is running right now. You can't hear it. And I promise you that the stuff coming from his garage and basement is going to be even quieter with even more firepower than what I have about, 8.5 feet, 8 feet away from me right now. So if you haven't bought one yet, go to 256 Heat, get on the phone with Tuan, send him an email, whatever. He doesn't have prices on his website because he wants to make sure that what you get is what you need. What he doesn't want is to ship you something and then you say, this isn't what I'm looking for. We have sold a ton of these things. And everyone that sees these things in action loves them. You are missing out if you don't have one. Call this guy and get started mining ASAP.
All right, so I have 2 stories sticking with the bread and butter Hamilton versus Brampton man. Now, I do want to apologize for one of the stories. It's not a lengthy one. I got it from X. I follow a lot of the police services, and that's what I was. I do this with hopes of getting a story, and finally I'm able to get a story, and I finally did. So it's not something I was able to find on like CP24 or CBC. It was essentially an X post, so that's why it's rather short, but it gives the gist of what's going on, and it's pretty funny. Anyways, you got to guess which one it is. Is the Hamilton or the Brampton guy? So just this past New Year's at approximately 11:20, police began receiving multiple calls about a pickup truck driving on 3 wheels with sparks on the highway. The truck was stopped.
Cut it now. I already know. Go ahead.
47-year-old male driver was arrested for impaired driving and subsequently registered over 2 times the legal limit. He was fucking drunk.
Was he driving home from the airport? Anyway, continue.
Furthermore, the investigation revealed his license has been suspended since 2001. So the dude was driving for 24 fucking years. Actually, no, it was 23 years and a bit because it wasn't officially 24 years. It was New Year's Eve. And he was driving without a fucking license for almost 24 fucking years. Lit. What got him? He didn't fucking put the spare tire on. He was driving with just 3 wheels.
Damn.
So that's story number 1. Story number 2, this man faces over 160 charges for fraudulent car sales through Service Ontario.
Ooh.
And so they did an investigation, MTO, and this was an unlicensed car dealer and broker who allegedly facilitated the fraudulent sale and transfer of vehicles. That's what police are saying. So between June 2023 and early 2024, the accused made fraudulent transactions through the Ministry of Transportation and Service Ontario involving over 100 vehicles. And 24-year-old, he used loopholes in Service Ontario practices that allowed authorized individuals to conduct third-party transactions with vehicles. So these include registering a vehicle, replacing a permit, changing its color, obtaining a UVIP, transferring a permit, replacing a license plate, and paying a fine. And registered vehicles, they were as third party, and they've been identified as revind vehicles too, Joey. So they were essentially stolen, revind with a new VIN, and passed to be legitimate. The guy is facing 168 charges for uttering forged documents and trafficking of stolen goods. And family and others close to him could be connected for the crime as well. So those are the 2 stories.
Yeah, the second guy's the Brampton man.
You know what? He is definitely the Brampton man, but I got rid of the link. I'm gonna see if I could find it. It's not what you think. Wait a second. Yes,
the family ties tell me he's that I'd be leaning Brampton when you said his family was also involved. There could be involved.
I sent it in the private chat. You can see the picture of the dude, Milton Hilton.
Milton Hilton, killer name. Yeah, love that for him.
Pull it up. Pull up the picture.
You want me to pull it up?
No, it's in the private chat. For you
I see it. Do you want me to put it on the?
No,
screen?
I wouldn't. Post
Okay. Right.
It's just Milton Hilton.
There we go.
So yeah, you're correct. So the guy from Hamilton was driving around on a QEW caught in St. Catharines.
Wow.
So he traveled all the way from fucking Hamilton to St. Catharines on fucking 3 wheels.
That's crazy.
How
did he get away with that?
It's a long fucking time, man.
Oh, shit.
And
that's
24 years.
A well-patrolled stretch of highway too, because that's a 110 limit now. Guys are always flying down that highway.
But it's New Year's. People are shooting out fucking Roman candles from the cars, and people thought this was just a regular day.
He was just celebrating. Right? He was just celebrating.
Celebrating with just 3 tires, and no fucking license for 24 years. This man. I obviously didn't have
Legend.
insurance.
Legend.
We kind of know somebody that. I don't want to go there.
We do?
We'll talk about it offline.
Okay. All right. That's it, everyone. God bless. No interview this week. I think I'll probably try and schedule one next week, though, for your listening pleasure. So we will see you guys on Monday for this show. But Access of Easy comes out on Friday if you want to listen to that. We also record that, obviously. So until next time, take care of yourselves.
And put on a spare tire, for God's